how was the early days like, selling to the restaurants and getting them on board?
Yeah, I think it helped that my co-founder was in restaurants already, so we had a bunch of friendlies that we could start with. I don't think that everyone has that has that benefit, because when you're trying to build demand and it's you don't know folks, you're basically begging them to use your product. So it's for us, we were fortunate that we had a bunch of restaurants that were willing to work with us in the beginning, but then it became basically leveraging once you have, and that was our strategy. It was like, hey, once you have a few of those, you can leverage that for social proof and get other customers on. Because on this in this world, it's like, hey, if that restaurant's using it and that restaurant's using it, then it's good enough for me. It's the same thing. Like everyone used Open Table because that was what the top restaurants used. That was their go to market strategy was the same. It was like, hey, get the well known folks on board, and then it'll trickle down because everyone looks up to those as kind of the visionaries and leaders and the thought leaders, and they're like, hey, this Open Table thing might work. So then they all start using it. So the same for us is like, hey, if we can get the big name restaurants in San Francisco to use it, we can use emails, use phone calls, and just say, hey, by the way, so and so and so and so are using it. They're like, oh, I know them. Yeah, if it's good enough for them, it's good enough for me. So I think that kind of cascades. But again, the same problem is with local marketplaces that that's not going to cross over to Charleston, right? It won't go do anything for me in Houston. It might help in New York, where there's a lot of kind of transition from people from here to New York or Portland or Seattle maybe or LA, but that only goes so far. Those networks only go so far. So you have to you leverage the hell out of your network, bug your friends, bug people you know. Um, the, Never be too proud to ask your friends for help because you never know who they know. Your network is magnified when you actually like let people know like what you need, and if they, I mean, let's hope they like you, but they'll help you out because they'll say, hey, oh, but my buddy is the CEO of Kava, or oh, I know the guy from who runs Chipotle, whatever it is. Like that's leverage the hell out of that network because that's probably the fastest way you can actually get to customers. If you haven't tapped out your network first, then you're wasting time.